as the stars aligned in a rare celestial configuration. A low hum filled the air. It started as a gentle vibration, but quickly grew into a deafening roar that shook the very foundations of the space station. Kalen, K. Vex, a seasoned space orc, clung to the edge of her command chair for dear life. Her eyes were fixed on the viewscreen, where a swirling vortex of energy was erupting across the galaxy. What in the Nine Realms is happening? Kay barked into her comms device. Captain Jax Ortega's voice crackled back over the intercom. I don't know, but we're not taking any chances. Prepare for emergency evacuation protocols. Kay shot a glance at her crew, who were scrambling to secure loose equipment and strap themselves in. Her own seat was already buckled down, but she felt like she was going to be tossed around like a rag doll. The station's AI, an annoyingly chipper entity known as Motherboard, chimed in with a series of shrill warnings. Evacuation protocols initiated. Please proceed to designated escape pods immediately. As the storm raged on, Kay's mind began to wander back to her own dark past. The memories she'd long kept hidden were starting to resurface, like old wounds reopened by the turmoil around her. Jax, what's going on? Kay demanded again, her voice laced with concern. Is this some kind of natural phenomenon or? Unknown. Jax cut in. But I've got a bad feeling about this. We need to get out of here. No. The station shuddered and lurched violently, sending equipment crashing to the floor. Kay's stomach dropped as she realized they weren't evacuating. They were being pulled towards the heart of the storm. Kay, we're experiencing some kind of gravitational anomaly. Motherboard warned, her digital tone rising in alarm. Please prepare for. The view screen flickered and went dark, plunging the station into an eerie silence. Kay's world narrowed to a tiny circle of light around her chair, the only thing keeping her grounded as the universe seemed to implode around her. And then, just as suddenly as it had started, everything went quiet. The storm dissipated, leaving behind unsettling stillness that hung in the air like a challenge. Kay's gaze drifted back to the view screen, where a faint image began to take shape, a vision of her own dark past, waiting patiently for her to confront the demons she'd been running from all along. As Kay stared at the view screen, the image coalesced into a familiar figure. Her mother, Era, the same woman who had abandoned her as a child, leaving Kay to fend for herself on the harsh streets of New Taurus. Era's eyes seemed to bore into Kay's soul, filled with a mix of sadness and regret. But Kay saw only cruelty and indifference, just as she always had. Why are you here? Kay demanded, her voice barely above a whisper. What do you want from me? The image didn't respond, but instead reached out a hand. Kay felt an inexplicable urge to take it as if some part of her still longed for the mother she'd never had. Captain Jax's voice cut through the silence, his tone laced with concern. "Kay, are you okay? We're trying to figure out what just happened." Kay tore her gaze away from Era's ethereal form. "I'm fine," she lied, her mind reeling with the implications of this strange vision. But Motherboard had other ideas. The AI's digital voice piped up, calm and collected as ever. "Captain, we're detecting a strange energy signature emanating from Kay's quarters. It's unlike anything I've seen before." Jax's response was immediate. "Kay, can you check on that?" The station's crew began to stir, their faces etched with worry as they realized the true extent of the anomaly. Kay, however, felt like she was being pulled in two directions, one foot rooted firmly in the present, while the other was still stuck in her troubled past. She hesitated for a moment before nodding. "I'll check it out." But as she rose from her chair, the image of Era began to fade, leaving behind only a faint sense of unease. Kay knew that she had no choice but to confront whatever was happening, not just for the sake of her crew, but for her own troubled psyche as well. She strode towards her quarters, the energy signature growing stronger with each step. The door slid open, revealing an eerie glow that seemed to be drawing her in. And then, without warning, everything went dark. Kay found herself standing in a cold, damp cave. The air was thick with the stench of decay and rot. In the distance, she could hear the sound of dripping water, echoing off stone walls. Era's voice whispered in her ear, the words barely audible above the background noise. "Find out what you're made of, Kay. Face your fears." Donkey's heart raced as she realized that this was more than just a vision. It was a test, one that would push her to the very limits of her strength and sanity. She steeled herself for the journey ahead, knowing that only one thing could see her through: the unyielding determination of a space orc like Kay Vex. The image on the view screen grew clearer, and Kay felt her heart sink as she recognized the place, the ruins of her childhood home on the planet of Kernix. Memories long buried came flooding back. The screams of her parents, the smell of smoke and ash, the sound of her own terrified whimpers. Captain Jax's voice broke the spell, his tone low and serious. "Kay, we're receiving a transmission from an unknown source. It's you." The view screen flickered again, and Kay's image appeared before her. But it was different this time. Her eyes were haunted, her expression a mix of fear and determination. "Jax." The voice on the screen said, "We have to talk." Kay's grip on the armrests tightened as she leaned forward, her mind racing with questions. Who was behind this transmission? What did they want? Captain Jax's voice came over the comms device once more. "I'm patching them through now. Kay, let's hear what they have to say." The view screen flickered one last time before resolving into a figure standing in front of a darkened background. The Orcs' features were distorted by some kind of visual filter, making it impossible for Kay to discern their true identity. Kalen, Vex, the stranger said, their voice low and gravelly. I know what you're hiding. I know about your past. Kay's anger flared like a spark igniting a fire. Who was this interloper, daring to dredge up her darkest secrets? And why did they think she'd care? But as the stranger continued speaking, their words began to seep into Kay's mind like a slow, moving poison. You've been running from the truth for so long, Kay. But it's time to face your demons. It's time to confront what you've been hiding from yourself and everyone else. The silence that followed was oppressive, heavy with unspoken truths and hidden agendas. Kay felt her grip on reality begin to slip, as if she was staring into the abyss once more. And then, just as suddenly as it had started, the transmission ended. The view screen went dark, leaving Kay feeling lost and alone in a sea of uncertainty. As the last echoes of the storm faded away, Kaya, Vex slowly released her grip on the command chair. She blinked in the sudden silence, her mind still reeling from the torrent of memories and emotions that had flooded her during the turbulence. The view screen flickered back to life, revealing a galaxy transformed, stars realigned, planets reordered, and the very fabric of space, time seeming to vibrate with an otherworldly energy. Kay's gaze wandered across the new landscape, searching for answers, or at least some semblance of normalcy. Captain Jax Ortega materialized beside her, his face creased by concern. Kay, we need to assess the situation. This anomaly, it feels like a door has been opened. Motherboard chimed in, her digital tone laced with curiosity. Sensors indicate an unprecedented convergence of celestial bodies. It's as if the cosmos itself is trying to communicate with us. Kay pushed herself up from the chair, her legs feeling heavy and unsteady. She took a deep breath, steeling herself against the turmoil that still churned within. I think I know what this is, she said, her voice steady now. It's the storm's aftermath. The psychic resonance we've been tracking, it's not just random noise. Jax and Motherboard exchanged skeptical glances. What are you saying, Kai? Jax asked. Kay's eyes locked onto the view screen, where a faint image persisted, her own dark past, waiting patiently for her to confront the demons she'd been running from all along. A sense of purpose ignited within her, and she knew exactly what needed to be done. We need to go back, Kay declared, her voice steady and resolute. We need to face whatever is hiding in those shadows and bring it out into the open. Jack's expression turned thoughtful. You're saying we should confront our own dark pasts? Ken nodded, a sense of determination settling within her. That's exactly what I'm saying. And if this anomaly is connected to our own psychic resonance, then we have a unique opportunity to make things right. Motherboard's digital tone turned analytical. If we can harness the energy of this convergence, we might be able to. Kay cut her off with a raised hand. Let's just focus on one thing at a time. We need to get to the source of this anomaly and see what secrets it holds. Jax nodded, his expression reflecting a mix of curiosity and trepidation. All right, Kay, let's do this. As they set their course for the unknown, the stars aligned once more, this time in a configuration that seemed to whisper a single, haunting phrase. The past is not what it seems.